Hey, welcome back to the next video. And today we are going to talk about healthy connections. And I know you want a good connection with your teen. Otherwise, you know what? You would not even be watching this video, would you? No, you would not be. And and actually I just want to say, and I know it's not always easy. Even though you do, and you may see some relationships, teen parent relationships that are like, wow, they really have a good relationship. And you want that to be you. And that's good. All right. Because that is the first start, because you cannot have a healthy connection if you don't even want one, for starters. So we're just going to kind of talk about that today. I'm Shauna Partlow. I'm a teen relationship coach, and I help parents connect with their teen so you can talk about all issues. But this is the healthy connection so that you can be healthy. All right. Because if you don't have a healthy connection with your teen, it's going to be really hard to even talk about any issue for that matter with your teen. Even if you have a healthy connection, it's sometimes hard to talk with your teen. So, but that's what we're going to talk about, okay? Is that you will have a healthy connection because you yourself have to sometimes get healthy. And sometimes that in itself is sometimes a little bit difficult because, first of all, we have to admit that I need to make some changes. So, in this, all right, I'm going to read this to you, all right, because this is something I wrote down already. And we cannot have connection and distance at the same time. We have to decide which one we want, all right, and what we are willing to do to get it. So, what are you willing to do to get that? To get it is the connection. So, in the case of distance, you don't have to do anything, do you? So I'm just going to say that again. You cannot have connection and distance. So this is not a long distance relationship, okay? Because that might be something you're thinking, well, you know what? My teen is not here right now and they're far away. They're, I don't know, on vacation. They are going to school somewhere and you live somewhere else. Maybe your job takes you and you travel a lot. So if that is the case, then I got to tell you, you got to put even more, what's the word I even want to say? You have to put even more effort in on your part if you want to continue having a connection with your teen. I know this person who I'm not saying I know them personally, okay? I just know actually a story from actually Dr. Dobson, and I just remember him saying his son, so of course he traveled a lot, so he was saying that his son at one point was being very disruptive with his life, and he just was kind of not headed down the right direction. Dr. Dobson canceled all of his speaking engagements for I'm not even sure how long, okay, because of course I don't know him. But I remember the story. I remember him saying this. He canceled at one point all of his speaking engagements because his number one priority wasn't just because of parents, and that was what he worked with and helped parents and helped families, but hey, his own family. So his own son was needing a dad around. And that's exactly what he did. He canceled things and came back home and plugged back into the life of his son. And not because that was easy, right? I mean, hey, that was his income for starters, going around the country, speaking. And that's the same thing for you. Hey, it doesn't mean that I'm telling you to quit your job, okay, by any means. But hey, you might need to find a different job and plug back into your teen. You might need to make some arrangements. You might need to think about and start doing things a little bit differently, because in order to have the connection that you really want, because again, you cannot have connection and distance. So when I was talking about the distance, because you travel, because whatever the reason, okay, the relationship, then you have to work 10 times harder to get the connection, even if it was lost or even back, or just even to develop one. Because teens, they might not tell you that they're struggling. They might not tell you that they don't like that you are gone and that you're doing those things, but you're going to know it in their actions. You're going to know it when they don't talk to you. You're going to know it when you maybe contact them, you call them, you text them, whatever, and they don't really respond. You're going to know it by if their response is very brief and to the point, because you know what, they're hurting and they miss you. They don't necessarily know how to say that. I miss you. I know you're like, well, it's not that hard, but you know what? Hey, adults have a hard time saying it too, don't they? So it's not just your teen that sometimes can have a difficult time saying what they want to really say. So if you want that healthy connection, all right, yeah, there's some effort there's some effort on your part that has to take place. Um, so one thing too, also, if you and your spouse, all right, do not have a even, it doesn't have to be this perfect connection. It doesn't have to be like you're just lovey-dovey all the time. But if there's not a healthy connection, even in your marriage, that puts distance also in the relationship with you and your teen. And sometimes it's because, well, that hurts them and that's a struggle for them. And again, they don't know how to really come and say to you that the things that they're actually feeling and thinking. So then they distance themselves even from home life. So if you are finding that your teen is not wanting to be home a lot, and sometimes, of course, yeah, that's normal teen behavior. But if you're noticing that it's where they're going, and there's different things in there, okay? They can either be doing drugs and drinking a lot, and where that has become their life because they're trying to cope with something. They're trying to make themselves feel better. So if it's because of the home life and now they've left to go do these activities, all right, that are not good for them, that they're now pouring themselves into what is the home life. Or now if they're going and because they don't want to be home, so now they're just trying to be gone all the time. Where is it that they are going? Are they going to maybe a place to where there is a really solid family structure there and they want to be part of that? So there's different things that your teen will do because they're different, aren't they? And hey, you might have 5 teenagers and they're all going to maybe do something different. So they're not going to be the same. You might have one teen that acted out and did this. You might have another teen that turns around and does something completely different. So they're all not going to do the same thing. They're all not going to be feeling even the same thing. They can be raised in the same home and definitely have complete different thoughts and feelings of how they were raised, of what's going on in the home, and the perspective because they're different. All right. So think about what it is with even your marriage. Maybe you're divorced. Maybe you don't even have the other living around you. Maybe, whatever the circumstance is, that's going to be another thing that you have to work on to bring the healthy connection. All right. Because there can be a connection. All right. But that doesn't mean it's healthy. I've known just parents who have partied with their teenager because they didn't want to feel guilty if their teen wasn't going to party with them. So then that kind of helped take away some of the guilt because, hey, we're doing it together. And look, we're having a really good time, aren't we? But are you? What are you really showing and leading your teen to? So when your teen's an alcoholic, by the time they are in, a senior in high school, because you've partied with them a lot. And here's the thing too. It doesn't mean because that is the only way your teen can become an alcoholic, okay? Because the parent-teen relationship, and that was what they did, all right? Hey, your teen can become an alcoholic, and you maybe don't even drink. So there's definitely different factors in there, all right? But I'm talking about healthy connections. If there is not a healthy connection, you need to maybe, do some heart check yourself. You might need to make some changes yourself because again, you got to remember, it's not your teen's responsibility to build the relationship with you. It's your responsibility to build the relationship with your teen. Okay. They are not the adult here. They are not the parent. They are not the one in charge. At least they shouldn't be. All right. So that's one of the things in this also is sometimes if you are finding that your teen has just seemed to be not listening to you and really kind of doing their own thing, these are different stages within their life, within what's happening. And, summertime, and then they go back to school, and the people they hang out with, the things that they are seeing on social media that they're looking at, and what does, the influence that Snapchat has. So these are all major influences on sometimes separation in the family. So when you're wanting that healthy connection, all right, sometimes these are the things make a major play within you having that healthy connection, okay? Because I'm not just saying connection, all right? Because like I said, there's a big difference between sometimes just connection and healthy connection. So something that you might want to be thinking about is, putting the phone down. All right. Okay. You could go to any restaurant, can't you? And what do you see? How many people do you see that are not on their phone? How many little tiny, cute little people do you see that maybe are not on a tablet, are not with a device in front of them? Now, this is old, young, it doesn't even matter, right? All the in between. So, this is not just a teenager, this is adults as well. And so many times is what has happened is that is the connection. That the phone, the device is now the connection. Social media is the connection. And sometimes I know parents will say that, in order for me to contact and be in touch with my teenager, I have to be on Snapchat. I have to do these things. But do you? And it's okay. I'm not saying don't do that, okay? But if you're going to be contacting your teen on the phone that you pay for, then maybe some of the thing is that, you know what, you're a little too nice. Now, I'm not saying go and be a jerk, all right? Because, hey, your teen might already think that you are that. Sometimes it doesn't take much for them to feel and think that, does it? That just because you did one little thing, because see, the perspective is completely different. Their mind, their brain is not fully developed. So they definitely perceive things in complete different way. And the emotions and the hormones are real. So when you are trying to say things to them, sometimes, see, they cannot handle it, or they cannot put it into the perspective that you are meaning it to be. But that doesn't mean that you don't discipline. It doesn't mean that you don't talk to your teen. It doesn't mean that you don't have conversations, and it doesn't mean that you don't try to make a healthy connection. So another thing you might have to do, okay, you know what, is first of all, definitely hear what I'm saying and think about what I'm saying and think that, okay, here's some things that I need to do. Here's a few changes that I need to make, just flat out in the very beginning. First of all, I need to, admit where maybe I have gone a little bit wayward in what I am wanting to do with this healthy connection, and what is the part that I need to be doing? Where's my responsibility in this? Another thing is that you, again, hey, you gotta put the phone down, right? Put the phone down, put the devices down, and that is not your connection, all right? Because sometimes I feel like some parents, that is the parenting, is with the device. So wherever it is that you go, that's the parenting. That you actually do see that, don't you? That's why the little people, okay, have the device, because that's doing the parenting. And sometimes, yes, you know what, it's okay to have your child, your teen, whatever, have these things, but to the degree that that is their life, you need to really think about that. Because what is it even for yourself? Is that your life? Is that the connection that you have with anything? So when there's actually a conversation, you don't even know how to have a conversation. See, that's not healthy, is it? So I guess maybe this should even be titled unhealthy connections, because that's a pretty big range right there. And actually, I feel like unhealthy, yes, is bigger than the healthy, isn't it? So we have the healthy connections, and that's really kind of tiny. That's a really small window right here, a really tight door that's there compared to the unhealthy connections. And sometimes when unhealthy is actually what we are, that chaos, it's really hard to get out of that, because it's an addiction where we are actually addicted to unhealthy. And that is actually our norm, and we don't even know how to even get healthy. So this is hopefully going to be helping you to get healthy, all right, with a healthy connection. So putting your device down, thinking where it is that you need to make some changes. Now, see, hey, that's hard, isn't it? Yes, it is. I'm going to answer that for you. It is hard. It's very difficult, because you might not be willing to want to make some changes. You might kind of like it the way it is, where your teen just goes off into the room. There's no talking. They come out when they want something, which is then complete silence. There's no talking. You're totally fine with them having the TV in there, with their video games in there, and their phone. You are completely 100%, no big deal. I don't care. They can do what they want. Hey, you got to remember, you know what? At some point, they're going to be adults in the real world. at some point. And as a teenager, that time is getting there a little closer and faster. Unless, of course, you want them living in your basement for the rest of your life. All right. Because that might be something you are going to be totally fine with. I think I have a video on that you can check that out also. So, in the midst of healthy connections, okay, that is not healthy, all right? That your teen just stays in the room and you don't really talk with them, that's not healthy. That's not healthy for them. And that builds just separation. So just because they have a room, just because they have these things in the room, you might need to go in there and take those things out. You might need to be talking, but it doesn't mean that you just go in there and just rip it out and with no explanation, all right? Because nobody knows how to talk to each other anymore. So you need to have a conversation to say, hey, I've been really thinking about maybe the video games that you have and how much time you spend in your room. And I really want to tell you that, you know what? I'm sorry that and here you go, this is going to be hard to say, but you might need to say this, that I really have not been the parent that I needed to be to you. So I want to ask you if you can forgive me for that. So are you willing to say that? Because that's a really hard thing to say. Because first of all, you have to be humble and you have to be admitting it. Because, hey, I'm not saying I was a perfect parent, because I definitely was not. There is not the perfect parent, but where's the willing parent? All right? Because the willing parent, that's who's going to make the healthy impact into the life of their teen. Because those years are short. Hey, I'm telling you. And it's every moment is getting a little bit shorter. Because what grade is your teen in now? They might have just turned 13 and now, oh my gosh, you know what? They have already graduated and now they're 18 and now they're going off to college. And now, hey, that's still a teenager, isn't it? But that teenager doesn't necessarily live in your home. So what are you going to do in that moment and to bridge that gap that you have and the time that you have? All right. How are you going to use that time that you have? Because it's not as long as you think it is. And if you're watching this and you don't have a teen yet, that's good that you're watching this, because this video is going to help you then to think about some of these things in advance, all right? Because sometimes people feel like, well, it's already too late for me, my teen's already, they're already a junior, senior in high school, and now they've already gone off to college, so now what do I do? Well, you still make some changes, don't you? You can still apologize and say, hey, I'm sorry, because I definitely was not the mom that you needed me to be. I for sure was not there for you and the dad that you needed me to be. You gotta, hey, are you willing to say those things and mean it? Not just for the moment so that you can manipulate your teen into them doing something that you want them to do, all right? Another part of this healthy connection, okay, is when I was talking about your teens, sometimes they leave and they don't want to be around home because even just insecurities, all right? The family life plays a major role in the security or insecurity of your teen. So when there is no healthy connection, that puts a major insecurity in your teen. Your teen can be insecure anyway, all right? You can have the best family life, but see, there's still insecurities in your teen because, hey, adults have insecurities, definitely. Me doing that podcast, the Talkin to Teen show, was a major insecurity. All right. Put a few little videos out there, but it was hard. It was still, the insecurity of doing that. Making these videos can still, be an insecurity, but I'm still doing it. Raising teens, having that life in the teen realm is an insecurity because you don't know. You haven't been there before. You don't know what to do. And sometimes you don't know what to expect. And when things happen, you're searching for a place to go. You're searching for something to help you. So I hope that I can be that person to help you. So in the life of that super fantastic teenager of yours, okay, like I said, things can be very difficult. They can be very disheartening as well. Especially when there is, connection. But it's going to be something on your part that you're going to have to work towards. Now, if you're thinking, well, I've already done all these things and what the heck, Shauna, you don't know my family. You don't know my teenager. You're right. I don't. You don't know the things that we've done. That's right. I do not know those things and I have not walked your shoes. I've definitely walked my own path with my own teenagers and not everything was great and wonderful. And that's why I can be here to help you. Some of the stuff, some of these things, I truly think, okay, you might not like what I'm going to say right here, is that sometimes I think some parents, hey, I'm not saying you're bad parents, I'm not saying you're horrible, rotten, or whatever, but I'm going to say this, that sometimes you are too nice, that you're just way too nice. And your teen will totally take advantage of that to the fullest. All right. I'm not saying turn around like and be the complete opposite of, this horrible, rotten person because, well, Shauna said in that video, and so now I'm not going to be that nice. No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay. Because you know what? No, I am definitely saying though, your teen knows, all right? They know you sometimes better than you know yourself. And if your teen where they seem like they're not listening and they just seem to be doing things and you've been telling them and telling them and telling them, that might be because you're too nice. And see, there is no connection because you're fighting a lot. And that might be because you, mom, dad, need to get a backbone. You need to be putting your foot down. You need to be saying no, but then not feeling sorry for them because you said no. Hey, because you know what? I remember doing the same thing, being all mopey, walking around because my mom was that. My mom was so nice. Oh my golly. She was so nice. And yeah, see, I took advantage of that. How many of you have done the same thing to your parent that was so nice and you knew it, didn't you? You knew they were. You knew exactly what to do, what to say, and how to get them to come back to your side. Yeah? Hey, your teen's no different. When you are so nice and you can't keep saying these things, you're like, whatever your phrase might be, I'm tired of this conversation. I'm tired of this conversation. I'm tired of them not listening. Well, part of that might be because, like I said, you need to make some changes, and in this healthy connection video, it might not be what you're thinking it was going to be either. All right, because you being walked on is not healthy. Your teen getting to do whatever they want to do at whatever the cost, that is not healthy. And you might have a connection because now your teen likes you, and that might be why you're so nice, is because you don't want your teen not to like you. You don't want to suffer even the wrath of your teen. And I know those can be very real situations. But if you want to stop some of this unconnection, okay, that maybe you had a really good connection, all right, and now you don't really have that much anymore, and sometimes it's because of the friends that your teens are your is hanging out with. Sometimes it's because the social media that they're on, Snapchat that they're on, just different people in their life that have come around, and also the home life. Okay, so those are a lot of different factors in there, and sometimes then you are so nice and because like I said, you feel sorry for them, but you can't, not all the time. All right, yes, have some empathy and some sympathy, but not to the point to where they are disrespectful, they're rude, they're not listening to you, they're undermining you. You definitely have to not be so nice in order to get back that healthy connection, all right, that maybe was lost because maybe you had it and now it's gone because of these now factors that are bombarding your teen, all right? So my question, yes, what are you going to do? Okay, so in that too nice thing and all of this whole thing, what are you going to do? All right, in order to get back the connection, because once again, in the very beginning, connection and distance, okay, you cannot have them together. All right, they do not work together, connection and distance. So you just letting your teen do whatever they want and you don't have any connection, just as long as you let me know, okay, because is that even real? Yes, your teen needs responsibility, and the older they get, the more responsibility they do get, but the higher the consequence to their responsibility, to their choices. That's really what I want to say. So the higher the consequence, all right, as they get older, but to the to what it is that they are doing. All right. So there's consequences and everything. So you might not have a lot of consequences because you want to have a connection with your teen, but that doesn't make it healthy, because as they get out into the real world, oh yeah, there will be consequences. All right. Because if you are not preparing them, then that's on you, isn't it? And maybe because you're going to plan to bail them out for everything. That is not healthy, is it? And even though you're thinking, okay, well, it's still, we have this connection, but that's not a healthy connection, all right? So you do need to put your foot down, but you need to follow through with the things that you say that you are going to do, all right? In order to like weed out those things and the unhealthy, and in order to bring back, see, like I said, the healthy is a really tight window. Healthy is small. Unhealthy chaos is large and a lot of times in charge. So you have to be reining it in. What are you going to do to get a healthy connection? What are you going to do to bring back where maybe there's been distance? Now, what are you going to do to bring back that connection? All right. Are you going to continually feed the distance between you and your teen? Or are you going to start doing things where you're talking with them a lot more and saying, of course, the apology, okay? I know it's hard, and to humble yourself and to be saying, hey, all right, even to yourself, okay, what kind of parent do I want to be? What do I want them to be remembering about us, our relationship, as they get older and as they have children, as I become a grandparent, when they go out and find, maybe the relationship that they're now going to marry, what are they going to be remembering when it comes to the parenting and how I was to them? Because you can change that stuff right now, all right? You can change chaos into healthy. You can change distance into healthy. You can. But like I said, it's going to be some work. So what are you willing to do? Because, hey, I would love to know that. I would love to hear what you have to say, what you are willing to do. All right. So something again, let me know if you're willing to put the phone down. Let me know if you're willing to talk with your teen a whole lot more. Let me know if you're willing to have them not just spend most of their life in their bedroom. Let me know if you're willing to start saying, hey, maybe you can cut down some video game time and we can hang out. All right? We can go for a walk. We can go watch a movie. Something. You have to start doing something, whatever that's going to be, in a healthy way, a better connection for you and your teen. Because I guarantee you that, all right? That's going to make a big difference. And you will definitely not have a regret in doing that. Absolutely not. You might have regret in saying that you wished that you would have not let them play so many video games. That I wish I would not have let them spend that much time in their room. Go through those things. I wish I would not have what? All right? What is that? Because you can change that right now. I wish I would have what done? Tell me. Tell me some things that you wish you would have done that you would maybe be thinking of that you could change right now. So hope that makes sense to you. So I think that's all I want to say about this right now with healthy connections. Okay. And again, you can let me know what you think about that and what you're going to do about it also. Okay. So that's all I'm going to say for right now. And thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing this wonderful little video here, and I will definitely see you in the next video.